Hi everybody, it's just me again, and welcome to vlog number 19. Before I begin anything, I just want to say one thing. I want to say hi to Tamsin and Amber, and I just want to say that you two had better have loads of fun together, or you'll have to answer to me. As if I'm so terribly frightening. Anyway, so for the topic today is money issues. When you really break things down, any transsexual is going to need a lot of money for their transition. I mean, that's just a given. Even for myself, who was lucky enough to be born with quite a few feminine features through genetics and all that, I have spent so much money on my transition. I don't even want to know how much I have spent. I'm pretty sure it's well into the thousands, possibly even tens of thousands. And looking at it, there is so much to consider. I mean, you have hormones, you have doctor visits, you're going to have electrolysis probably, voice therapy probably, you're going to have, facial feminization surgery probably, and of course the final SRS surgery. So, I mean, that's going to add up over time. And plus, there's not to mention, you're going to need new clothes, you're going to need follow-up visits after your surgeries and such, and you're going to need money for the therapy visits before you even are approved to start any of that. So, it's going to cost quite a bit of money. Plus, anyone in this world knows that money isn't always that easy to come by, unless you were like born into a lot of money, or you have a rich uncle that loves you and dies or something and leaves it all to you. But a lot of us are not that lucky. And for transsexuals, it can be very, very difficult to find a job. And when you do, it's probably not going to be that, $15 an hour job that you probably were going to hope for, and in most cases aren't going to get. And then you have the younger transsexuals out there, like the teenagers and the preteens even. They're not even able to get a job. I mean, by law, they are not able to get a job. And they're probably not going to think that saving their allowance to get the surgeries and such is going to be a very good option. So all they can really do is tell their parents and just hope to God that their parents are understanding and supportive. Because if they're not, they're gonna just have to sit and wait. Of course, I know there are some organizations out there that probably help the younger transsexuals. I don't really know, but I'm sure they're out there. Anyway, of course, some never have the courage to tell their parents. I mean, when you're that young, your parents are like, these godlike figures. They're like deities to you. At least some are. And I myself am guilty of that. I couldn't tell my parents when I was that young, so all I had was my journal to tell. It helped, but, probably would have been better if I would have gone to them. And the worst thing that you can do ever is to believe that gender dysphoria is just going to go away on its own, because it's not going to, and in most cases it's probably going to get worse. I mean, you can try and cover it up with alcohol, you can try and cover it up with drugs, you can try to say, oh gee, I'll just get married, ooh, I'll have kids, I'll have a family, I'll have all these things, and I'll just keep my mind occupied, I'll just throw myself into my job, whatever. It's not going to work. It's just going to get worse. I speak from knowledge and a little bit of personal experience. Still, getting a job can be tough, since employers are usually looking for someone with a lot of confidence and a lot of drive. How the heck are you supposed to be confident when you're not even comfortable in your own skin? I mean, tell me, how is that possible? And when you apply for a job in the correct gender, after you get the courage to do that, you might be nervous that you're going to be read, and that's not going to score you a lot of points in the interview process either. If you're kind of fidgety and you're kind of sweating, they're going to pick up on that. People that do interviews are very good at that. I know I didn't even want to get a job for the longest time unless I could apply for one as a girl. Main reason is just because it was another chapter. I didn't want to start as a guy, and it was a whole nother group of people I didn't want to meet and interact with as a guy again. But eventually I had to, since, I quickly realized that, hey, this transition is going to be very expensive and I'm going to need the money one way or another. So I just, kind of bit the bullet and got a job as a guy. You also have to consider, what if you're in a good career already? What if you're a little bit older, you've gotten a good career? Will transition affect it in any way? In this state, you could end up losing your job over that. I know most states and most jobs have kind of a strict anti-discrimination law, but this is a right-to-work state. Basically, it means that anyone can be fired for any reason at any time. And in fact, they don't even need a reason to fire you. They could fire you because they don't like your shoes. Some T-girls even end up as prostitutes, just, to afford to get by. It's hard for me to imagine, but I know there are some that have to do that. And there are some that turn to adult films. I've been asked to be in one on one occasion. No disrespect to the people that do that. I'm sure that it's, if it's your thing, it's great, but it's not my cup of tea and will never be my cup of tea. I think being in movies would be great, don't get me wrong, but not the adult variety. I've been trying to transition on the job slowly, but I don't make a lot of money at my job, so that's why I live with my parents. It's pretty much been the only reason that I can actually afford to live and fund my transition at the same time. Some people have been good about using my new name at my job, and others not so much, but at least I have a good start. If it paid better and wasn't so physically demanding, and if my parents weren't so adamant about me getting out of town, I would probably give some serious thought about staying there. Of course, I'm thinking my next job will be applied for as a girl, so then I won't have to worry about my name or anything else. I just hope it's more to my liking than the one I have now, because it really does take a lot out of you, and I know it upsets Tamsin a lot too. So anyway, the battle to get more money one needs for transition leaves a lot to figure out, and there's no right or wrong way to go about it. I know that there are people out there who have done miracles with very little money, but having more money for that kind of thing always helps. I know I'd have a lot more money if I didn't like to shop so much. I'm odd like that, but what good's money if you're not going to use it to buy things? It's just paper unless you're buying something with it. I guess that's kind of my philosophy. Not really a good philosophy, but a philosophy nonetheless. Anyway, it's so much to figure out, and everyone kind of needs to do it on their own. I can't tell you what to do because there's a lot of options, but it's all something you need to kind of hammer out for yourself. So that's what you need to do. And that's about it, I think. Yeah, that's about it. That's all I have to say for right now, and I will see everybody next week. And I guarantee it will be next week because things have finally settled down around here now that the holidays are done and over with. So I will see everybody then. Bye-bye for now.